Just this week alone, I've had to ask this question maybe 5 or 6 times to different coaches, academies, and trainers. And that question is, what is your financial target? Now, you might be watching this and think, oh, I've got a financial target, but you also might be surprised that many coaches and trainers don't actually have one. So on today's episode, I want to talk about how important it is to not only have a target, but I want to give you some simple tactics on how you can not only meet that target, but hopefully blow it out of the water. So let's discuss. As I said, if you're like most coaches and trainers, you don't have a solid plan. What you're doing is just grinding day in and day out, doing the best coaching that you can do, and then you just add it up at the end. Sadly, that is a recipe for burnout, and sadly, it's also a recipe for a business that's just going to fail. Any business that is successful today, CoachNow or any other that you could imagine, all has financial targets. But the most important thing that they do after that is they work their way backwards. They reverse engineer how they're going to hit those targets. So instead of being the coach that grinds it out and adds it up at the end, I want to help you set your target. And you can do that by asking yourself some very simple questions. Question number 1, what sales target do you even have? That's the most obvious one and the best start that you can get. Just set a number, okay? We're gonna talk more about the specifics about that in just a moment. Number 2, how much time are you willing to spend coaching to then hit that target? And then number 3, is there any other products or offers that you can offer to help you reach that target that aren't directly tied to your in-person coaching or especially your one-to-one coaching? So let's dive a little bit deeper into number 1, the first question. What is your sales target? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to set a moonshot to start. So if you have any sense of what your historicals are, that's the best place to start because then your moonshot will be based off some sort of information. But I want you to set a super unrealistic goal that if everything aligns, you could hit, but it's unlikely, okay? That way you have something really high and lofty that you're shooting for. The second target I want you to hit would be known more as your baseline target, and that's gonna be based off of reasonable growth targets from your previous years. I believe that the majority of coaches have at least 20 to 30% of growth just kind of hiding in their business today. So if you have good retention, you can then increase the average value per customer. All of a sudden, you've got a great business. I've got a lot of content on this channel, so make sure you check that out. But that is what's gonna fill out the number 1 question, which is setting your target, moonshot, and then baseline growth. Digging into question number 2, how much time are you willing to spend coaching to hit that target? The majority of coaches that we talk to are really shooting for 20 to 30 hours a week. I believe you can totally do the same. You just have to make sure that your systems are in place so you can get there. But you are gonna ask this question of yourself. You might be stoked on just 40 hours because you're putting in a lot more time than that to hit these targets. So whatever that is for you, make sure you note it down. And then number 3, what kind of products or services or offers can you introduce to your existing audience to increase that average value and also reduce the amount of time that you need to be coaching one-to-one or in person? Now, here's an example of still coaching in person, but introducing more leverage. That would be supervised practice. So if you're somebody that's doing one-on-one coaching or group coaching, you can put a little tweak on it and introduce supervised practice. Works for adults and or juniors. So especially if you're somebody that's coaching individual athletes like in golf or tennis, or even softball and baseball where they're coming to you for, again, skills training, this works really well. You set up a couple practice days a week, they attend, they pay you monthly. Even if they don't show up, they still pay you, and you're able to set up drill stations, games, competitions, and give them feedback in a group dynamic, but without all of the normal trappings of kind of traditional group coaching or clinics. The other idea, jumping off of group coaching, is that you can pull them into a CoachNow group and create a paid community. Dropping in content weekly or a couple times a week, answering questions, doing some analysis, you're moving the group forward, and maybe that group is now paying you $19.95 a month, and it has a ton of scaling opportunities. That's really it. Those are the questions you need to be asking. Those are some of the things that you want to dive into to help you reach those targets. So here we are at the action items. There's going to be 3 of them. Number 1, first and foremost, if you leave this video with nothing else, set your dang target, the moonshot and the baseline. If that's all you do, that's probably going to be a big improvement for where you are today. Number 2, I want you to set aside 1 day per quarter where you're doing an audit on those targets and that plan, and then readjusting as necessary. And then number 3, I want you to set aside 4 hours per week. That's it, but 4 hours per week where you can start creating and iterating on other products and services like I've mentioned, so that you can get off of the treadmill of exchanging your time without all the leverage. So I promise you, if you can put into action what you learned here in this video, your business will thank you, but more importantly, your lifestyle will thank you. And that is a huge focus for us here at CoachNow, is to help you not only be the best coach, have the best business, but ultimately be fulfilled, because far too often coaches are getting burnt out doing what they love, and I don't want that for you. So good luck, put it into play, and we'll see you next time.